What's up, great people, and welcome to another episode of the Fabe Effect podcast. I know I've been on a hiatus, and I am back, and I am ready, and I'm excited to do what God called me to do. A lot of times, that's what holds us back. We try to figure out what God called us to do, and that thing is called purpose. So the Fabe Effect podcast is all about purpose. I'm going to be bringing guests on to talk about their purpose. We're going to talk about different topics that we all go through, things we all go through in life as we go on our journey. But ultimately, we are here to help you, help others, help anybody around the world find out what they actually are here for, a purpose-driven life. And a lot of people asking, well, Fabe, where have you been? Why has it been so long since you've done a podcast episode? What happened? Life. You know, a lot of times we realize that in life, you have to sometimes step away to realign yourself with what God called you to do. And just because God has used me as a vessel to help others in doing the things that God called them to do does not mean that I have all the answers, and does not mean that I don't too stop and have to reset and realize what I'm doing in my life. So that's the reason I stepped away, but I am back and I'm excited to be here with you. And let's start off this week with a great topic since we're on it, and that is purpose. Back to purpose. Let's get into it. So, back to purpose. The reason I felt like I had to entitle this episode Back to Purpose is because I feel like that's what I'm doing. I'm getting back to me. And if I was to be honest right now, I would say that I took about a year and a half to really get back to who I am. And it was a journey because a lot of times what I've tended to do in the past is when I get a little discouraged or I find insecurities with myself, I throw myself into helping other people. I throw myself into behind the scenes. And that has been how I coped with those things that I wasn't ready to face within myself. And in those moments, you find yourself living on purpose in disguise because you think that because you know God called you to do things and help others that, okay, God, I'm doing what you called me to do. I'm helping other people. But he didn't call us to help others at the risk of throwing ourselves away. And I think that if I'm honest with you all, that's what I've done before. I've thrown myself away and threw myself into helping somebody else and allowed that to be what I covered up as me living on purpose. And the journey to get back to really focusing on yourself is when you have to really face yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. And because I want my listeners to know me, I'm going to be honest with you about my struggles and the things that I go through and the insecurities that I have that kind of sometimes pull me away from really doing what I know that I'm called to do. And so we can hold each other accountable. I feel like you can be my accountability partner, I can be yours. And so in doing this new journey with the Fabe Effect podcast, I want to just be transparent as possible. I want to let you all know when I'm going through things and when I'm trying to figure out what's next for me, because you can also write in and help me out. So you see there's purpose in everything that we do. And in this journey, I want us both to be living on purpose and to be moving in purpose. And so point that finger at Fabe just like I point that finger at you and hold me accountable as well. Some of the takeaways I also took away from the reset and from the break that I had is you really realize how many people around you are around you because of the things that you are able to do for them, and not necessarily around you because they support you or they love what you have going on. Because once you stop doing for them, things change. Once you stop holding their hand, they change. And so one thing in the reset and in the journey of the pause that I took, I realized that one, just because I'm called to help somebody doesn't mean I'm called to do life with them. Jot that down. Just because you're called to help somebody doesn't mean you're called to do life with them. Two, know when the time is up. I had to learn when it's time to let go and move on to something else. Know when whatever you were called to do in that person's life or in whatever you was called to do at that job in that season, know when it's time to move on and don't be afraid to take that leap. And three, I learned how to maximize what I'm able to get out of people for them. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times you can't do so much for someone that they are not doing for themselves. So I learned how to use what God has given me to not just help someone, but to push someone to help themselves. Because a lot of times you feel stuck and you feel obligated to be around somebody because you've all of a sudden become their crutch. So learning those things in the pause have put me in a place where now, yes, I'm here to help others, but I'm also here to help myself. I'm also here to build a better future and better life for myself so that I can be a vessel to so many other people. Because you ever feel that urge to do more? Every day, every hour, every second, I'm always thinking about what can I do more? How can I be more of an asset? How can I be more? And a lot of times that can put you in a rut too. So hold yourself accountable, but give yourself grace. Don't always be so hard on yourself. And so what I'm excited about is some of the different topics we want to face this year. You know, the world is changing, so we're definitely going to talk about this political lane that I'm not interested in, but we have to talk about those things that are going on around us. And other things we're going to talk about is what young people are going through, that Gen Z era, like what they are bringing into the world and what we should look forward to. And other things we're going to talk about is like just different things that we love to do, content creating, different things we love to do, different jobs that are out there now, because the job market sucks right now. So talking about how can you still be successful and not necessarily have a 9 to 5 and not necessarily be able to clock in, different things that help us push forward, because that's all I'm here for, is to be a vessel to push you to live on purpose, whatever that purpose may be, to live on purpose. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited, because this is going to be a fun ride. I can't wait till you see some of the guests that we're going to have on the show. We're going to have entrepreneurs. We're going to have doctors, we're going to have lawyers, we're going to have people out here acting and dancing, people out in the arts. We're going to have so many people just to show you what living on purpose is, because you know and I know that we all sometimes need a motivational inspiration to keep going. And what better way to do that is to see examples of people living out those things in real time, the struggles in real time. Those things are necessary for us to keep pushing on. And another thing I want to introduce this year is Speak On It. It's a thing I want to do where we speak on rapid conversation, things that are going on in real time, where people are able to write in and text in real time and ask us to speak on it in the moment. So I'm excited about all of those things that are going to be going on this season of the Fabe Effect podcast. And a lot of times people ask me, before I go, they ask me, why did you name it the Fabe Effect? What is the Fabe Effect, and why it's not effect, why it's effect? The reason I gave that notion is because a lot of times, as I mentor other people, my mentees used to always joke about everyone needs a Fabe in their life. They always joke about that, and I started to think about what was I doing to affect others around me, because I don't want to just be just in someone's life and not really helping or doing something, not really causing some kind of progression. So I feel like an effect is what happens when something instantly changes you when you get in contact with them or with that thing. So the Fabe effect is like, I feel that God has put in me something that once you get in contact with me, you feel that support, you feel that God, and you feel the necessary things to be all that you can be. So that's why it's called the Fabe Effect, and I just want to be effective in your life in any way possible. I'm so excited for this season, so let's get ready to wrap this thing up for today. Before we get out here, at the end of each episode, something I'm introducing you, I want to challenge you at the end of each episode, because if we're not learning and growing, what are we doing? So my challenge for you for this episode, so we talked about getting back to purposes, we talked about leaving something and taking a hiatus and coming back to it. I want to challenge you. What's one thing you've been putting off because you think you've missed your chance? What's one thing you've been putting off because you think you've missed your chance? This week, take a small step towards it. Purpose doesn't require perfection. It requires movement. So one thing that you're putting off, I want you to take the time to think about that one thing that you've been putting off for a while and take one step towards it. Even if it's just opening up your notes and titling the notes, whatever it is, that next move or that next job, whatever it is, take one step towards that thing that you've been putting off. And you know what it is. You know what you've been putting off. You know the things that you want to do, the things that you have a passion to do. Take one step towards that this week. I'm so excited to see you all. This episode will be airing soon, and the next episode will air in 2 weeks. So it's going to be a bi-weekly podcast on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Can't wait to see you next week. Be affected.